What is going on? It is time for the gym. Today's workout is going to be quads. I'm looking forward to it. Now, the agenda is to keep it simple. Going into this, I'm really trying to simplify my workouts, just doing what works for me and using that until it no longer does what it was doing before. So, primarily the workout today is going to be squats, whether it's barbell, Smith machine, or the belt squat. Just depends on what's available to me and how my knees are feeling as I'm warming up. And then I'll probably finish with some single leg extensions. Now, I am going to throw some other movements in there as well. Primarily to warm up my knees, I'm going to do some lying hamstring curls. And I really like that because it doesn't put pressure on my knees, warms up your knees from behind. Actually feels really good. And if you get a little bit of a hamstring pump, if your hamstrings are big enough, you kind of get a little bit of a bounce at the bottom. It's a nice little cushion. Recommend trying it out if you haven't done it already. Although I would say it's pretty standard for most people to know that at this point, but there might be some of you that don't. And then every leg day I finish with calves. Although I will say I have been trying to get better at listening to my body. And although you might not necessarily be fully recovered by the time you go into every workout, I don't necessarily want to continue training a muscle if it's still considerably sore. So if I can flex the muscle and it feels like it's under 80% recovered, I'm just going to wait until whatever the next session is to hit that muscle. Now, you might be different. You might be able to continually grow, but I have seen results from this method recently, so I'm going to keep doing that. Now, I did have a topic on my mind today, and kind of goes along with the whole New Year's thing. You know, I think this time of year, everybody's coming into the gym, everybody's making their New Year's resolutions. A lot of people are going to fall off, but there are going to be some people that continue the grind and continue the journey. Awesome. Here for you. For those of you that quit, we'll be here next year when you start again, and hopefully you stick to it. Or hopefully you decide to come back to your goal later in the year if you do fall off and get right back on the horse. Anyway, I'm going to try to come at this from an approach where I don't sound like I'm just attacking. But whenever I see new lifters on social media or even in the gym and they're just getting into it and they're all hyped up on motivation, they've just dedicated themselves to this goal of working out, and maybe they're a weekend, maybe it's their first day, and I'm about it. You're not even going to notice who I am in 3 months. I'm a different kind of person. I'm leaving all these people behind me. Like, hey man, I get the enthusiasm, but you haven't quite changed yet. And if you're truly about it, or really quick, my favorite one, I finally made the decision. This year's all about me. I'm focusing on myself. Meanwhile, you're posting about it on social media, which shows that it is about what everybody else thinks. If it was truly about yourself, you'd just go to the gym and start doing it. Now, obviously, I'm posting videos, recording my workouts and all this, blah, 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 but I'm not trying to prove a point to anybody. I'm just filming the video because I like sharing my workouts and sharing random thoughts. But I feel like these motivations that are driven by negative emotion are only going to take you so far. And, you know, if you are about it, we will see that. People will see it when it actually happens. You know, nobody's going to be tuning in, not to, like, you know, crush your spirits or anything, but nobody's going to be like, oh, Jimmy said that he's going to be a different person by the end of the year. I'm going to stay locked into what he's doing. Because they care about themselves. They're locked in on their goals, not on yours. So I really think, if anything, it doesn't do any damage to me. It's just hindering your own pursuit. Find your reason why you're doing it, and ultimately do it because it's something you want to do, not because somebody said something to you. And maybe somebody said something to you and they lit the spark, and you realize that whatever they said to you, whether it was in a nice way or even a rude way, that there was a little speck of truth in there and kind of rubbed you the wrong way. And you're like, you know what? You're right. I am going to change. I am going to start going to the gym. I'm going to get more fit. I'm going to put on muscle. I'm going to eat cleaner. But you don't got to prove anything to anybody. You just prove it to yourself. And I think more people will be, gravitated towards you. I think it's always kind of hard to talk to somebody if they distance everybody by saying, nobody understands. If you tell people nobody understands, nobody will understand. You got to remember, if you want to have friends throughout this journey, you kind of have to be, I don't know, likable, I guess. But once again, you don't have to listen to me, and not everybody's going to be your friend. You don't want everybody to not everybody's going to be your friend. So, but that was just a random thought in my mind, and I've been there too. I think a lot of this is more of the younger guys, newer guys for sure. But just have fun with it, man. Just chase after the goal. Go for some big weights. Challenge yourself. I just really think that having a negative motivation behind going to the gym is only going to take you so far. Those people tend to fall off pretty fast. The posts cease relatively quickly. But yeah, I don't want to harp on this too much. Everybody's got to make mistakes and learn the hard way. Not every move you make has to be broadcasted. It's actually kind of cool when somebody doesn't say what they're gonna do, and then they post a 1-year transformation pic, and you're like, dang, this dude locked in. He just did the work. Same thing like when people say I'm taking this year to focus on myself. I'm quitting social media, but not until I make this post. So yeah, you guys know, you guys have seen it. It's everywhere. And if you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it. And there are people that do go out there and state what they're gonna do, and that's their motivation. But for most people, I think there's a lot of respect that comes with just doing something without feeling the need for attention, especially nowadays with how prevalent social media is. If you think back 20 years ago, which most of us would have been little children, I would assume, there was no social media to post on. The only thing you could do was, if you're going to tell anybody, you would just tell your friends. And as most of us have come to find out, anytime we tell our friends something ambitious that we're going to do, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. And then you're like, okay, I'll prove you wrong. But with social media, you don't have that, somebody saying to your face, that's not going to happen. And it's really easy to label somebody as a hater when, they could be hating, but they could just also be trying to rile you up a little bit. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm just going to finish my drive. I got about 30 minutes before I'm at the gym. I'm going to finish sipping on my pineapple juice, get carved up, and we're going to hit some legs. All right, so today's workout is pretty simple and straightforward, like I said in the car. Just doing squats and leg extensions, single leg extensions. I ended up doing 6 sets of squats. The first 2 I did record, but I recorded them in portrait mode, so oops on my end. So you're seeing sets 3 through 6 here. Just put 3 plates on the Smith. Every set was a set of 10 just building up volume with my legs. For whatever reason right now, not switching the movements up very much in my leg workouts has been working for me in order to get the burn that I need. And I know that's not the most important thing when it comes to a workout. You do want to push strength from time to time, which I do, but this wasn't one of those workouts. I just wanted to get a good pump, fill up the muscle with blood, and just get out. And like I've said before, you can waste a lot of time in the gym, especially on leg day. If you lift a decent amount of weight on certain machines, it can take a long time to load and unload those machines. So if I'm going to do something like that, I might as well camp out there for a while and just stick there for a majority of my workout, because I don't think anybody's going to argue that doing 6 sets of squats for a leg day is a bad leg day. And yeah, you can get great stimulus from other movements and have great workouts doing other things as well, which I do. But sometimes when you're in a crunch or mentally you just want to stick to a specific movement in a workout, that's totally okay. You'll see results as long as if you're pushing yourself and going beyond your limits, because that's what really matters. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When it comes to building muscle, the movements you choose don't matter too much. Now, take that with a grain of salt. You obviously can't do anything and grow a muscle. You have to have a purpose or a goal for whatever it is the movement you are deciding to do. But when it comes down to it, are you going to build more muscle with a barbell squat or a Smith squat or a belt squat or a hack squat? Really comes down to what best fits you and your body and how you move and what you connect the most with. But we're moving on to some single leg extensions. I did about 4 sets on each leg. I only recorded 2 just because I didn't want to sit here and watch me do about 15 reps per leg or whatever it was in the workout. But these feel really nice. For whatever reason, on this leg extension, single leg feels a lot better than both legs at the same time. And I've done leg extensions on other machines where both legs feel better than single leg. And that's just personal preference. Once again, it's just finding what works best for you. You know, you can always go around and ask people what works for them and try it out. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't mean they were selling you false information. You went and asked them what felt good to them, so they told you. You tried it, and it didn't work. So in this instance, you could go experiment on your own or go find somebody else. And if you don't know what movements are out there, it's always good to mix in some single leg or single arm if you're doing arm movie stuff. But today we're doing legs. So mix in some single leg stuff. Focus on some weak points, especially if you have one leg that is lagging behind the other. Always start with the weaker one and then match the reps on your stronger side. And then we're finishing off with some calves. I also did some adductions before these, but I don't like filming those just because they're kind of weird. The angle looks odd. I'll throw them in from now and then, but don't get to see them today. You guys know how it works. Open your legs, close them, standard procedure. Moving on. Anyway, I like to finish all my leg days with calves. Can't hit them enough. They are stubborn. They're so stubborn. But I have seen growth over time. Progressive overload, lots of reps, time under tension, get a good squeeze. Don't bounce the reps like you're jumping every single time. You got to have some control in there. It's a muscle like everything else. They're just a little bit more resilient. But we're finishing off with the last few reps here, and that's going to be it for today's video. I thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.